please, if I could have a moment of your time. My name is Kyle Niemeier, General Manager of DBAT Evansville, and I'll be your host for the DBAT podcast. I'd like to say thank you, truly, for choosing to spend your time here. It means more than you can ever know. I'd like to make you a promise. I'm going to do my best, put my efforts into making every episode bigger and better than the last. And I'd like you to make me a promise in return. If you could please like, subscribe, and interact with our videos, leaving comments on what you would like to see as we go along this journey. I'd love for you to be a part of it as we grow and develop. One might say this is where we're developing beliefs, attitudes, and traditions. So thank you and enjoy. Welcome, everybody. We made it. So welcome to episode 0 of the DBAT podcast. So I'd like to thank you for being here. Again, my name is Kyle Niemeier. I'm General Manager of DBAT Evansville, and I'll be your host for the DBAT podcast. So I thought I might kick this series off by, introducing myself. I'll kind of explain the premise of the podcast and what we'll be doing here, and hopefully get feedback from you guys. And in the future, we can have different guests. We can do a bunch of different sort of things to make this podcast fun, entertaining, engaging, and hopefully we'll grow the DBAT community. So I'm excited. So to kick things off, I had a few questions that I've been asking members and, people who have been in and out of the facility, just to kind of see if they would ask me anything, if they could ask our owner anything, hint, hint for the future. And so here are a few questions that have come by the front desk when I've been working, that when I've seen you out there that, people want to know. So first of all, they kind of want to know, what is my background? How did I end up working at DBAT Evansville? Well, so I actually am from Evansville, born and raised. I went to USI. I have a degree in computer science with a background in web development as well as computer information systems. I played ball out at USI. My freshman year was 2011. So 2011, 2012, graduated high school in 2011. And I played to 2016. Actually, my freshman year of college ball, I redshirted. I blew out my elbow my senior year of high school and had Tommy John that year, that entry year into playing college ball. So played out there for 5 years, and then I actually worked at the college, so University of Southern Indiana, as a web developer. And then from there, bounced around to a couple jobs, because that would have been right around COVID time after I stopped working there. So I stopped working there around 2019, 2020. From there, I found myself at a local gym where I ended up being the front desk manager. And from there, I was starting to get more and more of a taste for that managerial role and getting some experience under my belt. It just so happened one day, I'm always like on Indeed. I'm always on, the web browsing, seeing what other opportunities are out there. And I like to stay involved and see if people are hiring for different things here and there. And this job listing came up. So General Manager of DBAT Evansville, and believe it or not, that was the first time I had ever heard of DBAT in general. So I did some research and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like one of the coolest business ideas I've ever seen. Being with background in baseball and athletics and things like that, I was like, I gotta try. I was like, I'm gonna apply. And lo and behold, Chris Stratman and Rachel Stratman, so the owners, they invited me in for a interview. Now this is all off of Indeed, so you gotta love the modern world where you could apply, then all of a sudden you're general manager of a new business. So I met with them. Interview went really well, and I guess the rest is history. So that's a little bit of how it came to be. I mean, it's 2026 now, so we opened in 2023, so we're getting ready to roll 3 years into it, and it's been an amazing journey. So Chris and Rachel, thank you for bringing me aboard. It's been really fun, and hey, we're on a new journey here with the podcast and the YouTube channel. So a few questions. So Why did you want to start DBAT Podcast, and what's the goal of the series? So I believe there is a very big opportunity in the YouTube space for DBAT as a brand, and maybe I could somehow facilitate that. I think the world of baseball, DBAT has great tradition while developing beliefs, attitudes, and traditions, right? I think there's big opportunity that I can kind of push forward into the world, like the Bat Bros, like different review channels, like different branding with Easton and Rawlings. So I also want this to be a community engagement, we'll say, experiment, right? So podcast, as we go, we grow, we develop, we evolve. These first couple are going to be so raw, and maybe some people will like that. Maybe some people won't, but I'm going to do my best as we go to get better and better. I hope you guys enjoy the content that we push out. Maybe it'll be a little raw, not too great, but we'll grow. I would like to, so my goal for the podcast. So I would like to engage all of the DBATs and create some sort of centralized way that we engage with each other. So whether that's bringing other general managers, other owners onto the show, every once in a while we have big clinics. So maybe potentially getting those guests on the show, that could be an opportunity. And so our instructors here, the personalities that are local to Evansville, maybe traveling around, interviewing different people. These are all possibilities that I see could be in the future, and it's exciting. It's exciting. But I think the real goal is to get your feedback, right? So I want to listen to what the DBAT audience, the DBAT members, the DBAT Evansville family wants out of this show, right? So it's yours. So you tell me what you would like in your goals, and I think we'll develop it and grow it as we go. So that would be that. Let's see, what was here's an interesting one. So we got, you can kind of tell who might have sent these questions in. You should tag if this was one of your questions. So who hits the ball harder, baseball or softball players? Oh man, I got to go with baseball. I'm biased, but hey, what are you going to do? I've seen some exit velocities, and we have some girls who hit it a ton. Some girls who train with Kip, he's one of our instructors. I mean, they're scorching up those leaderboards. We use hit tracks to keep track of all the velocities and things like that. But man, when a baseballer catches a barrel, there's nothing like it. So sorry, softballers. I got to go with baseballers on this one. So what's another question that you guys have? Let's see. I know there was a funny one in here about breaking things. Where was it? He goes, oh man, have you broken anything in the facility? And can you tell us about it? I don't know. I don't know where that one came from, but I thought that was a funny concept. So, well, honestly, things are kind of always breaking around the facility. Kind of, not really. The nets and the cages are a big one. And Chris will know this. I'm constantly talking with him, and the instructors are trying to tell me about different things that are going on. But yeah, so the nets, I mean, it's just normal wear and tear. Those baseballs, those softballs, constantly hitting them. We're patching them. We try to seal them. But, we're still fairly new, so our stuff is in still really good condition. But being GM, operational and having those sorts of responsibilities and duties, I'm constantly patrolling the facility, making sure everything is up to date, making sure people feel safe, everything is safe, everything looks good. So much dust. You would not believe how much dust there is everywhere. So I think that would be one of the bigger things, are the cages. Another really big one that happens from time to time are the pitching machines. So if someone hits a liner right back at them, they can get into the little rectangle frame that where the pitches come out of. And when that happens, it can sometimes be scary because our building, right? So we have the metal structure, and those balls will seep right through there and hit a metal wall and makes the biggest sound. I'm always like, what? Oh, something happened. I got to go out there and check and be like, something happened. Yeah. So let's see. While playing, did you ever get nervous in big games and tryouts? Well, that's an interesting question. So I can imagine the player who is, going from a little league, getting ready to practice for middle school, cub ball, and getting ready to go into high school all the time. So all the time. I don't think I was never not nervous. I'll tell you what happened. As I got older in my playing career, what was then nerves, I think ended up being excitement. So as I developed as a player, as I got older, you put so many reps under your belt, you practice so much that all of a sudden when you're in those big situations, you no longer feel the nerves or you no longer interpret the nerves as nervousness. It's excitement. I tell you, I think I'll give you a call back. So back when I was playing at USI, the Screaming Eagles, in 2016, so we had won the national championship in 2014, which was like a surreal experience looking back at that. 2016 was my senior year. So I was seeing more playing time. I was on the field for longer durations. I was playing in more games. And we had won the regional, so we were back at the championships. And that season, I had a really good season at the plate. I had very minimal strikeouts. My average was really good. But whenever you go to the championships, the pitching was just on a whole different level. So I was coming up, I believe I was either leading off or I was second up to bat. My senior year, I was doing well enough that coach had me at the start of the lineup because he wanted me to get on. I was good at moving runners. My strikeout percentage was low. My on-base percentage was high. I would always work counts. So I got up to bat, and this, I think, there was only a few other times during the season that they had brought in specifically a lefty to face me. So, like, literally they were bringing the guy in to get my out because it was going to be the end of the inning. And this guy, man, he was, 6'2", 6'3", lefty, pumping low mid-90s, and he had a nasty slider that I just did not have any. I had never seen a slider like that in my career. So coming at me low 90s, and it was tight, and it was whenever it would break, right? So it looked like it was coming at me, breaking away. Typically, so I batted left-handed. So to review that, so most of the time I'm seeing a right-handed pitcher. So the nerves on seeing that baseball come at me, right, and break into the strike zone, not like I'm used to, I almost saw it as a challenge, right? So I was obviously nervous. We have a big game. I got to do something at the plate. And that was a good time that I can remember where in previous years, like of my career and being a ball player, that I would have been so nervous that I wouldn't have been able to do any sort of production. I think I ended up getting a bat on the ball. It was a hard ground ball style. I ended up getting thrown out, but hey, I was there competing, and you do what you can as a batter. Let's go to another question. If D-Bat had a walk-up song, what would it be? Oh, that's a good question. That is a good question. So I think each D-Bat location has its own flair and feeling. Now, if you were talking D-Bat Evansville, man. So D-Bat Evansville, we're located in Evansville, Indiana. So I don't know if you guys are familiar. Some of you locals will be, but for people who might be watching at other parts of the country, so we're the third biggest city in Indiana, if I'm not mistaken. So we're the southernmost tip of Indiana. So we're salt of the land type of community, which, I love the community and the people around Evansville. But if that was going to give you a feel of a walk-up song, I feel like it would have to be some sort of Bruce Springsteen song. If I was going to say, oh man, I'm trying to think of his biggest song. Born in the USA, duh, Born in the USA. That's what would be the walk-up song of D-Bat Evansville. If D-Bat in general, so all of D-Bat had a walk-up song, that's too big of a decision. I'm gonna challenge you. You guys leave in the comments if D-Bat had a walk-up song, what would it be? Oh, I'm excited to see what sort of response people have for that question. Okay, so here's another good question. So what's your vision for D-Bat Evansville and the athletes who train here? So D-Bat, we mostly see the youngins come in ages 6 to 12, and it is amazing to see those little leaguers grow, those even T-ballers, right? So we have programs, get ready for coach pitch, mound rookies. The youth player is, so what I would like to see is the development of those youth players into something more, something better, something inspirational. So back when I was a kid, we had a few locations that we could go hit baseballs, we could go train, but nothing like what D-Bat and D-Bat Evansville. The facilities here are top notch. And I think we have a great opportunity to have those youth players come in. I want D-Bat to be able to feed their appetite for baseball, softball, right? So instilling in them the work ethic, the drive, the love, the passion for the game, to take the baseball and softball community of Evansville to the next level. So to see more big names, all of a sudden, if you see a player that you knew playing local high school at a bigger college, and not only those players being at bigger colleges, being more seen and developing the colleges around here. So in Evansville, we have two colleges. So University of Southern Indiana, that's where I went, and then University of Evansville. Those are our biggest colleges. If we can help develop those younger players into being players that take it to the level of the D1 status, and then those universities growing to be national powerhouses, holy cow. So I think the ripple effects of what D-Bat Evansville could be is really something cool to think about. And not only that, it's developing and taking the community programs that we currently have, the leagues, the startups in terms of like maybe social clubs, maybe it's a program that someone started in their backyard. All of a sudden, they could come to D-Bat Evansville and they have a facility like this that they can utilize. So when it's all said and done, I think it's the development of the youth and really helping put Evansville on the map as a baseball and softball powerhouse. So even having summer tournaments, we have quite a few facilities that we host bigger tournaments in town that D-Bat Evansville can be, a place where those teams can go practice when it's raining, right? So if they're in town, they can come here, get their reps, and get ready for the next game. So that's my vision. I don't know. That was a long-winded vision. I don't know if you got anything out of it, but developing beliefs, attitudes, and traditions. Yeah. So let's finish up. So y'all want to know, who is this podcast for? Players, parents, both. this podcast, I'd like to say, are for all of those. So we're going to have, hopefully, interesting guests where each guest will bring their own flavor, and each guest will tend to be for one audience over the other. But I hope everyone can get something out of this podcast, whether it just be entertainment, whether if I end up talking with other general managers and facilities, can see what we're discussing. Maybe it's camps, clinics, operations, who knows. I'll be able to talk with instructors so you can kind of see how they feel about the game of baseball, the game of softball, what they grew up practicing. So our players who want to get better can see the mindset that they're in. And then maybe we'll have some entertaining guests as well that are just funny to have on. I really hope that ends up happening. Well, guys, I hope this sort of pilot video, episode 0 of the DBAT podcast was fun enough for you. Maybe it'll prompt you to see where we're going, hopefully, with this series. And I want to say thank you again for tuning in. If you made it this far, we really appreciate you. Please give us a like, subscribe. The more that you guys interact with this channel, the more feedback that we can get, the more that we can grow, the more we can evolve the channel. I think the bigger and better it will get. There are some big opportunities. Let us know. Who do you want to see on the DBAT podcast? What do you want to see us do? Do you have ideas for other series for the DBAT YouTube channel? Guys, thank you, and we'll see you next time.